My name is Joe Garza. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Reedley. Been employed for the City of Reedley for 25 plus years and have been the Chief of Police for the past 4 years. Currently, the City of Reedley does have a restorative justice program. We call it the Reedley Peace Building Initiative. The Reedley Peace Building Initiative is, we use the initials RPBI to describe our program here in the City of Reedley. Restorative justice is just an opportunity for the victims and witnesses, or victims and suspects, to really get together to be able to identify what it is that caused the problem in that specific issue. And so what restorative justice will do, it allows for that victim and that offender to sit in the same room, to be able to work out the issues, and in essence, at the end of the day, to be able to say, for the offender to say, I'm sorry for what I did, for the victim to have some sort of closure to the case. Currently, the juvenile justice system is very overburdened, so any cases that we file with the juvenile court system can take anywhere from 6 to 9 to even sometimes over a year to be adjudicated. With the restorative justice program, we can do it in probably less than 30 days from the time we start to the time we finish. And we get much more resolution out of those cases because we have the victim who's actually facing the offender. In juvenile court systems, very rarely does the victim get to face the offender. It's usually the attorneys that are there, the district attorneys and the defense attorneys, and they're talking with the judge. Victim is very, very seldom used in any court proceedings. In the restorative justice, we use them all the time. That is the key to making this work. And then also making it work is the offender. The offender gets an opportunity to see what wrongs he did and what pains that he caused his victim. And at the same time, he gets to have closure himself. The hopes of restorative justice is to have this person be a great member of this community again. Not be someone who was introduced into the criminal justice system and forgotten. 9 times out of 10, most kids who go into the juvenile hall are indoctrinated into the gang system, because we have a system in our juvenile justice system that asks the offender to pick a side, in essence. What gang do you belong to? Because they have to be able to classify them appropriately. So what they do is they would put otherwise a good kid and say, what gang do you associate with? And if he says, I'm either with the Northerners or with the Southerners, they will put him with that gang. And then what ends up happening, he assimilates himself into the gang. So for a very minor offense, it could lead to something even greater down the road. By doing restorative justice, we do not indoctrinate them into the gang system. We allow them to take ownership for what they did, and then offers a solution, or offer an opportunity for the victim to tell their side of the story of what happened and why what they did harmed them. So restorative justice is a new it's new to the City of Reedley. It's not new to the area. It's been around for 25 plus years, but it is very new to this area. And it is something that is new, but I have seen it succeed. We have seen it in the school systems succeed. We've seen reductions in recommendations for expulsions. Since 2008, 2009, there's probably been about a 65% reduction of expulsions in Kings County Unified School District. The past 2 years, we've seen a reduction of 35%. So it does work. These kids that have offended are getting an opportunity to meet the victim and to understand why it hurt that person. And then they also have an opportunity to say, again, I'm sorry. And that is something that is never able to be done in the court systems, because the victim never has that opportunity. 9 times out of 10, the victim doesn't even know in the criminal justice system what the outcome was. In this system with restorative justice, they do know the outcome, because they are part of the outcome. So restorative justice is just a great program. It's a new wave in law enforcement. I will tell you, for a guy who's been in law enforcement for 25 plus years, it was very tough for me to understand it and get involved with restorative justice, because it was just not in my genes. It just wasn't the way that I was brought up in law enforcement. I was brought up in law enforcement to hook them and book them, let someone else worry about them. But now what we do, and what I'm encouraging our officers to do, and what I encourage our community to do, is to take ownership into the kids that commit crimes in our community. It is our responsibility. When I say our responsibility, I don't mean the police department's responsibility. I mean it's this community's responsibility. And we are part of this community, the police department. So it's a new concept, but it's having some great results. And I'm becoming a much more of a believer that restorative justice is a method. Now, don't get me wrong, we still need police officers to deal with those criminals and those offenders that go beyond the restorative justice component. However, what we do need is, instead of just police officers, we need peace officers, because peace officers is what we need to bring peace back to our community and into all of our neighborhoods. So I encourage folks to really look into restorative justice as a component of the system that we have now, and not just solely look at the criminal justice system as, again, hook them and book them, let someone else worry about it. So my challenge to my colleagues in law enforcement is to look at restorative justice as an option. Don't just look at it as it's a feel-good program. It does make you feel good, but it has results, positive results.